Welcome to the Life Self-Mastery Podcast, where we bring in entrepreneurs who have created online businesses and improved their lifestyles. Here's your host, Rohit Malhotra.
Hi everyone, I'm Rohit from lifeselfmastery.com, and today I'm excited to have Olivier Plante, who's the CEO of Flesky, which is a young and dynamic company with ambition to become the most private keyboard company, and which has more than 6 million downloads. Olivier holds a master's degree in design and complexity from University of Montreal, as well as a bachelor's degree in design. He currently lives in Barcelona. Welcome to the show, Olivier.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Great stuff.
Yeah, so you have quite a journey. You're a French Canadian who lives in Barcelona. So how did you get your start into entrepreneurship, and what is Fleksy all about?
Yeah, so to the first question, I mean, I started to question things in the world. Very young, I wanted to invent stuff, create stuff out of my imagination that would be useful for people. And then I discovered that there was engineering and there was design. And design at that time was, yes, a discipline, but it was not, let's say, at the level that it is right now when I started. Right now, design is really at the center of a business. It's the way of thinking. It's the way to create like innovative products. But let's say, after I decided to go to design, I started to be interested in questioning the status quo. And the status quo tells you that things should be this way, and this is how it's done, and whatever it is, you need to follow the pack, right? And by questioning the status quo, I got interested in questioning myself, like, how can I create something that is different than what we're using today, right? And in everything I created, like games or products or physical products in design, I was always questioning myself about, what would be the right way to flip the model around or play with the model a bit, and then say, is this what I just created better and more sustainable in time, right? At that point, after university, I went off to Barcelona, and then I continued studying computer science as a researcher while I was completing my master's degree. And then I ended up starting to be interested in more tangible things, right? So moving from university, already wanted to create digital and services that would impact people. I then joined the company in creating innovating services or products or digital products to big companies, because the big companies at that time wanted to have this digital transformation. They were in the past and they wanted to be in the future. And so we got a lot of traction on that because we were using the user-centric sort of design centric way of looking at the problem. Like, what are the users' problems? How can we solve them? What is the best solution we can provide to them? And we were providing this as a service, a consulting service in more UX and marketing, and as well as product design to those big companies. And that was pretty good business. And then I in that course of a business, I said to myself, I want to have more impact, because dealing with big companies at one point, they face their reality of internal processes, and they don't want to risk themselves too much. They want to diversify, but also control it a lot. I said to myself, I need to create something that will have an impact in the world. And so we started with this innovative idea of creating a keyboard as a platform. And one value very centric to us as founders was the privacy aspect. That we saw in the market that private keyboards don't really exist, or if they exist, they are niche products and they don't have all the bells and whistles. They don't have a proper autocorrection. And so how can we build technologies to keep the user private? Because a keyboard has the potential to leak a lot of data about yourself. And you saw a lot of leakage of data coming from AI type. They leaked 31 million users' data because all the data is backed up in the cloud. And they do want to use that data in order to understand what's happening or sell that data somewhere else. So there's a sort of an underlying problem in the keyboard space, which is leaking data or using your personal data. That can be if you have a family member suffering from cancer, or it could be you have issues with your husband or your wife, right? So it's very, very personal. And so we said to ourselves, we don't want to go in that route. We think that it's outrageous. So let's build our technology respecting your user privacy, all processing on the phone, and then creating this added value, which is the AI-based smart keyboard. And with Fleksy, that's the essence of the product, is that with AI and privacy, we're able to still provide a very, very high level of product quality while respecting the user privacy. And this is the beauty of Fleksy, is that you have access to content from the keyboard. You don't need to switch between apps to share a song from Spotify or a video from YouTube. And that's really the big added value of Fleksy today.
Got it. So it looks like, it's the world's only private keyboard, or do you also have other competitors, who compete into this keyboard space?
Yeah. So the market is a bit in a situation where the competition is not, doesn't want the people to know what's happening behind the scene. If you remember in the messaging space, when Signal came in and WhatsApp was not end-to-end encrypted, there was a big hype around that, right? A big hype. Yeah. A lot of newspapers, a lot of media was telling, all messaging platforms can use your data to understand everything about you, because end-to-end encryption doesn't exist. And at that time, there was only Telegram and Signal, I think, that was using end-to-end encryption, maybe others that I don't know of, right? But at that moment, it creates such a hype. Like, this is when the privacy on mobile started to get to the user's attention, right? Where the user started to say, well, wait a minute, my data is used here, right? Mm-hmm. So they turned on, and it's not an easy task, right? They turned on end-to-end encryption. But the problem is that when you are using a messenger like WhatsApp or Slack or whatever, you're literally using two apps at the same time. You're using, on a mobile, you're using your keyboard app to enter text inside the messenger app. So there's two apps running in parallel, really. Right. And so this is where the issue is that at the same time as people are entering text in Slack or SwiftKey or AI Type or TouchPal or all the other folks, the issue is that where is your data going apart from inside the messenger? And that's what we're tackling.
Got it. And if the idea of the app is to stop the leakage of data and respect privacy, so how do you map out customer behaviors, and how do you plan to monetize your app?
Yeah. So we've been thinking a lot of time about that. A lot of time was spent on trying to see, how can we make this a sustainable business? And we got a lot of people saying, it's going to be hard. You're never going to find a business out of a keyboard, blah, blah, blah. So this was at early stage. You often at that stage of your journey, people are telling you things that they have on top of their mind, but they don't understand what you're seeing as a vision of the future, right? Right. So simply put, what we do is the Fleksy keyboard on your phone is using an algorithm that is completely offline to understand what's happening in the keyboard, okay? We can understand the autocorrection, so we can correct words, but we can also understand and read the person's mind, what he wants in real time. So the needs of the user, right? And we analyze this in real time on your keyboard phone. On your keyboard. So on Fleksy itself, we have an engine. It's an artificial intelligence that sits on your keyboard and can understand what's happening as you're typing locally without ever sharing that with the outside world. Okay? At that point, what we can do is really unique to Fleksy, which is anticipate not the text that you want to type next, but the service you want to use or the need you have. I give you an example. You're talking with a friend, you want to go see a movie at the cinema. And while you're speaking about this or typing this information, Fleksy would understand that you're looking to go to the cinema, right? The wording that you're putting doesn't matter because it's a contextual and sentiment analysis, right? It's a different type of analysis that doesn't depend on keywords. And with this, we're able to show at a glance what are the movies playing nearby. So if you have access to those movies playing nearby, you can share that with your friend. So you could, instead of saying, hey, let's go see a movie tomorrow, which is basic text, you could say, let's go see a movie this weekend or tomorrow, and then share a few movies you would like to go see. Because you, from the Fleksy experience, you will have access to those readily available. So you don't need to switch to the browser to go see IMDb or I don't know which source, to copy and paste links. All this mess that we have on mobile, it's completely gone. Because Fleksy's vision is to have this sort of a smart keyboard assistant that is helping you achieve tasks way faster, like dramatically faster than before. And that's the vision of Fleksy, is to create this smart keyboard assistant that is able to understand what you need and not only the text that you're typing.
Got it. And my second question was the revenue model. So do you pitch for advertisers on this, or do you have any pricing tie model for this?
No. So yeah, it's a good question. It's the way we monetize is on the links, right? So people are sharing links, and by sharing them, we have affiliate and we bring mobile traffic to partners. And that's the magic, is that some providers want to have mobile traffic. They want to improve the conversion of mobile traffic. And with Fleksy user base and also the ability to be in any messenger or app, we can bring those brands inside any app or any conversation that you're having, right? Mm-hmm. And that for the brands is very valuable, because then they are not faced to the wall garden of WhatsApp or the wall garden of Viber, right? Or Snapchat, because the keyboard is there. We grow the Fleksy keyboard, and then all the users can access the brand services wherever they are. And that's the magic.
Got it. And I want to talk about how long have you been running Fleksy?
So we've been running Fleksy for quite a while now. So yeah, it's been a great journey, and at the moment we are moving into a new phase where we have been able to prove the privacy of Fleksy in front of the government, right? Okay. So we have signed contracts with some governments in order to provide a keyboard that is private, as well as the messenger that is private. So if they're using a certain messaging app, they can also be reassured that their typing experience will be productive, one, and two, it will be private. And on the other side, we've signed deals for wide distribution phone brands. And those phone brands can have the power of Fleksy smart keyboard assistant inside their phone. They can provide added value to their users. But on top of this, because Fleksy is monetizing, they can also generate revenue without pushing ads or without providing these banner ads that are very annoying. It's a matter of like getting things done. That's the key here, right? And while I'm getting things done as a user, I'm generating money. And this generation of money is what the phone brands want, right? And this is what we want as a business, because then we can further create our capital, but also develop further future products and go further in the future of like the keyboard input, right? That we feel that it's lacking behind at the moment.
Okay, and I won't talk about the revenue numbers and the cost of acquisition per customer and what is the LTV numbers if you're comfortable to talk about it and if you're allowed to talk about it.
Yeah. So in terms of, right now the numbers of users we have is around 1 million.
Okay.
And in the next 12 months, we're going to move that to 20 to 30 million with the deals that we have signed. And we're pretty excited about what's coming up. It's really mind blowing how we successfully nailed some deals that are very important. Something that I think people will be amazed of.
Okay, and so you said 1 million. Is that $1 million is the revenue, or is it 1 million users you have for Fleksy as of now?
Yeah. So right now we only calculated on millions of users. Okay. Right now we're not sharing any revenue at the moment.
Okay. Okay.
But essentially, yeah, we're going to be profitable out of the next 2 months. So okay. We're making enough money to grow and be sustainable and actually create profit in the next 2 months.
Okay, and yeah. So the idea is to charge for companies and governments for your product, but you don't want to charge customers and users for this.
No, that's it. So the end user would still benefit from a free product, while respecting the privacy and getting the added value of Fleksy. But on the other side, we would add additional security levels to government or security agencies or cyber security agencies. And then on the other side, for the general phone brands, the model is about helping them monetize their user base without, bombarding them with ads, giving them a powerful utility. And this is how we more or less get the revenue going for us. Yeah. Okay.
So you got a large database. So did you do any paid campaign to get more downloads, or was it organic, or did you focus on social or videos or influencers?
Yeah, we focused on just word of mouth and the PR, but we never did some paid acquisition like Google Ads specifically to understand how much it we didn't spend money there. We spend our money on developing relationships with phone brands, because there are many phone brands, and when we get one phone brand, maybe it takes us a couple of months, we end up with 10 million users. So it's much more better money spent than trying to go up the ladder of Google Play and Apple Store. With a keyboard, we have the chance of being able to be preloaded on smartphones as a main input. I think it's a very hard game for general apps providers to be preloaded on some smartphone, unless you are Evernote or someone that is very useful and big and has a lot of power and means. generally these companies are paying the phone brand to be there, right? It's not the other way around.
Got it. And you are using crowdfunding platforms like Seed Invest and Crowdcube to raise funds. So you want to talk more about it, and why did you not approach VCs but crowdfunding platforms to raise funds?
Yeah. So for us to raise, there's a fundamental. It's a philosophy, right? It's a fundamental advantage to raise from the crowd, because we are the true alternative, private alternative to the other players in the market, right? And so we wanted to use the power of the crowd to put there a statement, right? A statement that clearly says that we are the people's keyboard. We want to be defending the privacy of people with a product that they can enjoy, fall in love with, and then use on a daily basis. And for us, the race from the crowd was like really the first choice, because we have, on one side, we have the crowdfunding campaign. It's going to launch today, so the 18th of September. We're launching on Seed Invest, and that's going to be helpful because we're going to get the crowd to chip in money in exchange of shares in the company, and so they can share the successes that we will have. They can also help us, right? We have been running a Crowdcube campaign in the UK, and the whole Europe basically has been investing in via our crowdfunding campaign in the UK. And we already have people wanting to help us and say, like, I want to help you with the privacy angle. I have contacts in the government, etc. And so we really feel the power of the crowd backing up a product that really wants to ultimately defend the privacy of users. I mean, in one sense, users, and I think we communicate this clearly, is that we are sort of the Switzerland in the world, right? Majority of keyboard providers today are either in the US or in China. We're facing a duopoly of control of data, and that's not cool. That's not cool. And so we need the Switzerland player in the market in order to say we can provide a equal value and still respect the user privacy, right?
Right. Yeah, so I think the benefit about crowdfunding is it helps you build a community rather than raising funds from angels and VCs when that sort of fraction is not there. You're raising a lot of money, but then you got to figure out how to build a rave fans and a community who can really push out your product to the next level.
Yeah, exactly. So if everyone in the crowd or listening wants to chip in the future of a private input, that's the goal of us. They can visit like seedinvest.com, or if they are in Europe, in the UK, they can visit crowdcube.com, and help us help you in the end, right?
Right. So we will put that in the show notes. So how much money have you raised till now, and how much money are you planning to raise, and what is the money to be used for?
Yes. So as right now we raised around 700,000, and we're raising right now a total aggregate amount of 1.3 million. Using the crowd, but also using our existing investors and other private investors that want to join our company, and also they believe in our vision of the future.
Okay, and what will be the money used for building better product, or getting more sales and marketing people, or business development?
Yeah, so the money is going to be used for further developing the product. We want to also introduce Swipe as an input method. We also want to continue developing our business development front, which is like dealing with the governments and phone brands. So we want to also spend money there. and then also on the other side spend money in being more present in front of the phone brand. So whatever is needed in the marketing segment, which will be us being in some key events or sponsoring some events. We want to get the brand of Fleksy out there as a representative of the feature set that we have, right? The Fleksy apps, the privacy aspect, and also the next service prediction, which is the AI-based technology inside Fleksy.
Okay, so I want to know you're French Canadian who's lived in Canada and now you're living in Barcelona. So what do you think is the tech scene in Canada versus Barcelona, or do you think it's warmer out there in Barcelona? That's why you moved out here.
Yeah. So the tech scene, I mean, if you compare with the US, of course, it's a very different level in terms of investment size. And Canada, as a startup scene, has been, hyped pretty much at the same time as Barcelona, right? Okay. We followed the wave of the US, let's say. But in parts of Europe where it started to, I mean, the parts of the ecosystem that were completely right is in the UK or Berlin, right? Mm-hmm. In those two cities, I mean, I think they had a lot of capital at hand. The mentality was also very close to the American mentality and I don't want to insult any British here, but what I want to tell is that, I think the mentality of risking to put money there and maybe have a high reward is something that in London, they understood very well. So for our company right now, we are in between Barcelona and London a lot. Okay. Right? And in Barcelona and Spain, the good thing is that you have talent. It's cheap, it's good quality, and then you have a very nice way of living, which is it's very sunny. You have the mountains, you have the beach. So you have a similar sort of way of life, like people are happier here and than other parts of the world. But if you come back to Canada, the startup scene over there is at the same maturity, I think, than Barcelona. Well, I mean, than Spain. In Barcelona, in Spain, you have Madrid and Barcelona, who are like really the two major hubs of startups, right?
I think Canada it's mostly Toronto and Waterloo side.
Yes.
Right. So and how big is the team, and who do you have any other co-founders also with you right now?
Yeah. So the team is 7. So we're 7 in total in the team, very small, and we are based in the neighborhood of Barcelona, which is very, very cool. There's a lot of things around. We also are in sort of a co-working space where there's a lot of people around that we can talk with. So the culture was very important for us as a company, and we're looking to grow the team after the funding round is done. Right, we want to grow the team because we want to serve our customers and go faster and build a better product that is superior to what else is out there.
Awesome. So let's quickly do the top 3. What's your favorite business book?
I think it's Traction. It's a very good book. It's written by the founder of DuckDuckGo. Yeah. I think every startup CEO should be applying this with the marketing, user acquisition, and the development team to understand how can we grow that business.
Yeah, in fact, the founder of DuckDuckGo also has the same similar belief about privacy, and yes. That's why they're so different from Google, but they're still doing well. They're backed by good VCs. So Traction is a good book. If you could go back in time when you started Fleksy, what is the one thing you would have focused on?
So, I mean, when we started our company, which is, Think Think Limited, and then we're operating the Fleksy keyboard as Fleksy. I think, is dealing with people that they say that they can help you. Everything sounds beautiful, but in the reality, the execution is not there, right? So people that say, I can help you raise funds, or I can do this for you, right? And at the beginning, you're starting, so you don't know really anything. So you start trusting those people, and then after they don't execute and they only ask you for a paycheck. That's something that I should have been avoiding. So my suggestion is basically read a lot about the environment of what you need to do, or what you want to achieve, and then try to see or compare sources of information, not believing in people, but if someone tells you something, then start reading about that. Like, hey, people who help others fundraise, or people who are development agencies. Try to be critical before saying yes. And then it would save you a lot of time and embarrassment, if any.
Got it. And what's your favorite online tools, example, Gmail or Slack?
The example, you mean like in a company side, like, or a brand, or?
No, any online tool you use regularly. Like I love using Zoom and Calendly. So you got any favorite online tool?
Yeah. So the tool that I'm using the most is actually Slack. I'm using a lot, and then the other ones I'm really keen on is the productivity tool we use here, which is called MeisterTask. And so MeisterTask is sort of a Trello, a German-based Trello, and it's pretty well done. Yeah.
Got it. And if people want to look into your crowdfunding campaigns, so what is the best way they can look into it, and how can they know more about Fleksy?
So they can visit our website at www.fleksy.com. This is where they'll find all the information about the product, but they can also go on the Google Play Store or the Apple iOS Store, type in Fleksy keyboard and download Fleksy, try it out. It's very, very customizable, it's fun, it's powerful, it's private. And on the other side, for the crowdfunding, everyone who wants to be part of our crowdfunding campaign can go to www.seedinvest.com. They will see Fleksy, search for Fleksy, and then if you are in Europe or the UK, you can go to crowdcube.com/Fleksy, and then you'll find our crowdfunding campaign that is ending on the October 19th. So it's very important to do and to invest before that time, because then after that, it's going to be too late.
Okay. Oliver, thank you very much for coming on to the show. I really appreciate talking to you, and best of luck for your crowdfunding campaigns.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Life Self-Mastery podcast, where we teach you how to start and grow your online business. For more information, visit Rohit's blog at www.lifeselfmastery.com.